Instagram as well. And okay. Okay. Hello, going live to answer some questions for you guys. I've been doing this for a couple months now, and I will be here for maybe 15-20 minutes today. Updates from me. I'm doing a giveaway with Grassland Nutrition. They are my favorite freeze-dried organ blend company. They also have freeze-dried kelp. They have liver, heart, kidney, suet, and they're just an incredible company. I love the people. So if you haven't already seen that giveaway, feel free to join. You just leave a comment and I will be randomly selecting a winner. Hello, here to answer any questions that you guys might have. I have recently gotten a couple of messages from people regarding C. diff and how to overcome it. So C. diff looks a little bit different from person to person, as does a lot of different things. So in some particular situations, animal fat can exacerbate C. diff, but I overcame C. diff through nutrition. I tried everything in the book. I did 3 fecal transplants, 13 rounds of antibiotics. The C. diff was seeded in my gut, and it is gone for good. I actually just recently tested it. It's negative, it's gone, and that was after, over 3 $30,000 fecal transplants, and it was still there. So nutrition really is the key. Some people have a hard time transitioning to animal-based or low carb in general, and so that's going to look different from person to person. Hello from Chile, Illinois. Hi, I'm in Illinois also. We're in Waukegan. It is chilly, but the sun is out today. I feel like spring is around the corner. I'm really hoping that it is. Good morning. Naperville, nice. Not too far away. So does anyone have, wow, hello from Belgium. Hello. Does anyone have any questions or updates or comments? Welcome to share. Hello. I'll also talk about my spring retreat because it's around the corner, and we have 4 rooms left of the 14 rooms. We're going to have Rachel. I don't know if you guys know Ribeye Rach on Instagram. She's so inspiring, awesome. I cannot wait to meet her and just spend some time with her. We're going to have Dr. Lisa Wiedemann and Dr. Kiltz, who is a fertility doctor. They're all going to be there. I will be there, and we're going to have the best food, Billy Doe Meats, North Star Bison. This is really just such a good time to get fellowship with like-minded people who are also chasing health. If you struggle to stick with carnivore or animal-based, this is also a really good time to see that it can really not be something where you have to white knuckle through it. I'm going to provide lots of variety with what we're eating and show you how convenient and easy it can be. Someone asked, can arthritis or DDD be cured through nutrition? Arthritis 100%. I'm wondering what DDD is. But arthritis 100%, I would say that's one of the most common things that I hear people recover from is arthritis. And I've worked with a lot of people with arthritis. So when you stop eating inflammatory foods, that inflammation in your body comes down and your body can heal. And then you're also getting the nutrients to support your body, your bones, your joints, everything like that. So yes, 100%. Degenerative disc. So I was diagnosed with degenerative disc disease. And so everyone has degenerative disc to some degree. It's kind of like sarcopenia. As we get older, these things wear down in our bodies. Mine was really bad when I was like young. This was 7 years ago I was diagnosed with it, and my discs were like crushing each other. I believe it has to do with taking so much Adderall. Like I had no fluidity, no cushioning in my joints, and I was in so much pain. That has been reversed to some degree. Like my spine looks totally different. So yes, that is also reversible. Can MS be cured? Yes, it can. I've worked with multiple MS, multiple sclerosis patients. It can be cured, and it does take a while, in my opinion and in my experience. There is also, with these things, there are usually other things going on. But yes, it can be cured. I don't think that there is anything that's uncurable. There is not. You're very welcome. So, the spring retreat is May 11 through 16. It's going to be at North Myrtle Beach. I've never been to Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach. And we're going to be 50 steps away from the ocean. It's a big property, so it's like a property that has double everything. So double pools, double kitchens, and I'm super, super excited. And then the fall is also already booked and already planned for the special guests, but I haven't announced it yet because I'm still talking about the spring retreat. So if you're interested, please let me know. I'm really excited for that. Any other questions? So today, our CrossFit coach and his wife brought us one of their homemade sourdough loaves of bread. I haven't had bread I had some bread in 2019, and I was like in a coma, literally, for like a day. Before that, I mean, not including that, I haven't had bread in almost 10 years, and I will be having a slice of sourdough bread today, and I'm very excited. I know I can handle the carbs. I don't know how I will do with gluten, but I know that my gut has healed and sealed, and I can trust myself with these things, so I'm really excited to try that. What do you think about Dr. Gundry? He claims you only need very little protein per day, example, 2 eggs or 3 pieces of shrimp per day as a protein requirement. So I think that is so dangerous and wrong. And I used to be in the camp of lower protein, and it is not sustainable. Even people who do lower protein, higher fat for epilepsy, that is not sustainable, and they even specify this. If you look up the original ketogenic diet, which was made for epileptics, it's low protein, like 60 grams, 65 grams of protein per day. And I know that this is a fad right now and it's popular, but it's not sustainable. If you have metabolic syndrome, if you are insulin resistant, going lower protein and higher fat for a season can be helpful. But when you heal, you shouldn't be going such low protein. So in my opinion, it is not sustainable. Dr. Gundry also is huge on a lot of plants, and I'm really not with him on a lot of different things. And I went the low protein route. It's not sustainable. Can you give a simple one whole day carnivore recipe? I mean, pick any cut of meat. So for me, I love to make goat shanks from Billy Doe Meats. Put 1 or 2, or if you're a guy, you could have 3 goat shanks in the pressure cooker. Fill it up so it's halfway covering the meat with water, and then pressure cook it on high for 3 hours. You can eat the whole thing, including the bones, the marrow inside the bone. That's a meal. It's delicious. You could make quiche. You could make big quiches and freeze them. You can put your leftover bites of meat, ribeye chunks. You can put some raw cheese in there and then just pour your eggs over. I would recommend adding fat like butter, and you just bake that and you portion it out and you can freeze it, and that's a great meal. If you like steak, you can just have steak. Cook it from frozen in your air fryer. I like to cook a lot of things from frozen at 390 degrees or 400 degrees, so that helps to create a sear on the outside while locking in the juices on the inside, and you get a nice medium rare. So don't overcomplicate it. If you want more variety, I would say, what I like to do is have 4 to 6 ounces of different meats. So for me, I'll have 2 goat shanks and 4 ounces of shrimp, or 2 eggs and 6 ounces of goat ribs, something like that. And that is a way to have more variety. You are welcome. The last weeks I gained weight. They told me to eat more butter and fatty meats for weight loss, but I think that the butter is causing the gain weight. How can I make sure I'm losing weight again? So to lose weight, you have to be in an energy deficit. Sometimes higher fat can break a weight loss stall because if you're not getting enough dietary fat, your body might not even be registering to use fat for fuel. So, to become fat adapted, we do have to usually increase our dietary fat to get the body comfortable with burning fat for fuel. Once it's adapted to burning fat, you can just allow it to burn its own body fat. So, I would recommend pulling back on the added butter. I, unfortunately, have gotten a lot of clients who have come from carnivore groups where they were told to eat sticks of butter and tons of extra fat. And they're coming to me saying, I gained 80 pounds, I gained 50 pounds, and now I have a binge eating disorder because I was fasting too much. So, anything extreme like that, I think, is not sustainable, and that's not how God created us. So, I'll say again, high fat is great for a season. If you're healing your hormones, if you're insulin resistant, if if you don't have a period, if you don't have a cycle, if you're underweight in the first place, if you need to become fat adapted, higher fat is great. But when you're fat adapted, you can pull back on that dietary fat and your body will start to burn its own body fat. So what I would recommend to you is work with someone to establish some proper fat to protein ratio based on your goals. I think that 1 gram of protein per pound of desired body weight is very appropriate. And then you can base your fat on how much body fat you have, how fat adapted you are, your energy needs. I also have a YouTube video on the fat to protein ratio, and I have a YouTube series on losing weight. I would check that out. And I'm not trying to knock people who are recommending high fat, but it does rub me the wrong way when people tell you to eat until you're stuffed, or to eat, you have to eat a stick of butter every day. That's nonsense. Any tips when dealing with meat aversion, primarily with beef? I never had this problem in the past. Well, girl, I would get a pregnancy test. For me, I used the Equip Foods Prime Protein. I would make carnivore brownies. If you're dealing with beef aversion, so I know that you're making jerky. The jerky is really easy for me to eat, even when I'm not in the mood to eat meat. So jerky, the Prime Protein, make shakes, and then just the crispy things recipe by Michaela Peterson, or the meat popcorn. So that's like, you could get a chuck roast, pressure cook it, shred it, and then put it back in the air fryer with some fat. That's also really hyper palatable and just delicious and easy to eat. I would definitely do that. And if you really don't want to eat meat, then just eat eggs or eat the Prime Protein. So, yeah. Are you planning on coming out with a cookbook? Yes, I am writing a cookbook right now. I would like to publish it by the new year. The big part is going to be taking the pictures, and because I can write out these recipes, but it's a whole nother thing to cook them up and take professional photos. So we're going to have to rent a commercial kitchen. I will be investing in a camera this year, which is expensive, but after doing taxes, I need to have more business expenses. We just got totally robbed. So I'm actually really excited. So I'm going to be investing in a nice camera to record YouTube videos with, to use for my cookbooks. So hopefully it's out by the new year. If not, it'll be out next year. That's the goal. But I have a lot of recipes, and I'm really excited. How do you get all your sodium in your diet? I struggle to get enough and end up drinking a ton of Redmond Rheolite and Element. It's getting expensive. I use Redmond Rheolite every day. So I take 10 grams of sodium every day, which is a lot, but I also sweat a ton every single morning in my sauna. So I know that I'm going to need more sodium than average. If for some reason I don't go in my sauna, like when I go on my retreats, I'm not sweating in the sauna, I don't need that much sodium. I still need 5 grams or so. So it's an investment. Sodium I consider it to be a supplement, but we need to supplement it because our minerals, our water are both depleted of, our water, our soil are both depleted of minerals. and electrolytes, so we need to add them back in. So I keep up by making my hydration slushy. That's just Redmond Relight, some type of sparkling water, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, ice, and it's delicious. I make those for Tyler and myself every day. And then I salt my food pretty heavily also. No one wants to eat my food because it tastes so salty. So my answer to you is yes, it is definitely investment. I spend a lot of money on electrolytes every year, and I have zero regrets. It's necessary. All right. Can't wait for your cookbook. Thank you. I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited. It's so fun to just be able to share these recipes. I came up with these recipes because beef, salt, and water was really too strict and rigid for me. I did really well with Billy Doe meats, just lamb, goat, veal, the variety that they have in those different cuts. I was able to do just meat, salt, and water. Sorry about the noise. But yeah, I mean, my carnivore brownies, my carnivore milkshake, carnivore ravioli made with squid tubes. Like, I have definitely delved into a lot of creative ideas to make this sustainable. Carnivore stroganoff, carnivore garlic risotto. They are all very heavily animal based. And then if it is more ketovore, I'm very particular about low oxalate, low carb additions. So I really hope that it's going to help a lot of people. I would love a video on staples, preferably on a budget to stock kitchen, as well as how to use them. I like how your recipes are simple. Thanks so much for them. Yeah, absolutely. So I believe I do have a video on some of my favorite cuts to make. I could definitely make a video on like my favorite meals or staples. That's a good idea. So I will write that down to make that video. And it's kind of hard to say like what are, like, my staples are probably different than yours. My staples are goat shank. I love goat shank. I could eat it every day. I do almost eat it every day. I have a little bit of liver every day. I have ground venison always in stock in my house. So those are my staples. But for a lot of people, it's just bacon and eggs and burgers. So what I would say is find what is convenient, what is delicious, and stick with it and stock up on it. Is asparagus good for you? Not particularly. I don't think there's anything in asparagus that you need. That being said, I don't think it's one of the worst plants that you can eat, especially if you're roasting it. Goat shank is what's for dinner. Woo! I had goat shank yesterday. I'm all out now, so I'm having goat ribs today and some jerky. I put some jerky in the dehydrator before we left for CrossFit, so it's like halfway done right now. And I asked Tyler to save me the top rack because I am going to dig into that. All right, almost 10:30, so I'm gonna wait a couple more minutes to see if you guys have any more questions. What about white rice on occasion? So I just made a video on carb cycling, and I talk about how you have to know yourself. Are carbs even appropriate? They're definitely not necessary. If you're lifting heavy, you could utilize them. That's what I did. So that's step number one is ask yourself, should you be eating carbs, and are they really helping you? If carbs are something that you want to include, then definitely have a plan with it. And white rice is a good option. I just don't really love rice. So I chose my carbs differently. I did sweet potatoes, strawberries, more yogurt, just kept it really simple. So white rice is definitely something that you need to ask yourself, is it even appropriate to be eating those carbs? And then I would always precede the white rice or the carbs with protein and fat so that you're going to support your blood sugar. Never tasted goat. What does it taste like? Goat is similar to beef. It's also kind of similar to lamb, but it's leaner, and it has really good type of fat, but it's, like I said, it's leaner than lamb. So it is very rich in stearic acid, but it's a leaner cut, and it's just really, really tender and flavorful. And Billy Doe Meats is very unique because it doesn't taste gamey. So their lamb, goat, and veal it does not taste like anything you'll get from the grocery store. I have bought lamb from the grocery store and literally given it to the dogs because it was so gamey and just, it tasted dirty to me. But Billy Doe Meats doesn't have that gamey taste, and that's what really sets them apart from a lot of other people. So I would definitely try goat from Billy Doe Meats. My discount code is tailored. And yeah, it's really good. They, Huda from Billy Doe Meats, she likes to describe it as being similar to beef, and I would agree. It's similar to beef, just a little different. Sources of fat, I'm kind of tired of bacon. I'm not a big fan of any type of fat coming from pork. I'm not against it, but I'm not a big fan of it. So pork and chicken are comprised of polyunsaturated fat, which is an omega-6 inflammatory oil. And polyunsaturated fat is recycled into the lymphatic system and then deposited into your fat cells for storage, versus saturated fat coming from ruminant animals like bison, lamb, goat, veal, beef. That is easily oxidized and used as fuel. So great sources of fat: lamb, fatty lamb from Billy Doe Meats; goat, fattier cuts from Billy Doe Meats. You could do suet. Suet is specifically the fat that's found around the kidneys. It's very rich in stearic acid, which promotes fat burning, and it actually helps your body to become more efficient at creating energy. I'm doing a giveaway right now with Grassland Nutrition for their freeze-dried suet. It's pure fat, and it has a little bite to it, and it's literally like, it helps you to burn fat more efficiently. So that would be a great fat source. Tallow is just rendered fat. So ideally, just buying fatty cuts of meat and eating the fat that's attached to your meat is really the best option, in my opinion. You're going to get all the nutrients. If you want something that you can travel with, I also think cacao butter is a good option. Cacao butter is the #1 source of stearic acid in the world. Suet is the #2 highest source. So cacao butter is not an animal fat, but it is a saturated fat. And some people with histamines can react to it, but I think that's actually pretty rare. So I also recommend that for people who really need fat on the go. Carnivore bar is also a really good option. It's just a little bit more pricey. Experience with vitamin deficiency with frequent urination. So I would, first of all, take a good look at your diet and make sure that it's well-rounded. Also take a good look at your gut to see if it's healed and sealed, so that you're actually absorbing what you're eating. You are not what you eat, you are what you absorb. And my pictures, my before pictures, are a great example of that. I was not under eating, I just had a wrecked gut and a C. diff infection. So focus on healing your gut, focus on a well-rounded nutrition, and I would definitely incorporate some liver, even if it's a chunk of frozen liver this big, every day, just tiny, because liver is so nutrient dense, and that is your multivitamin. That's a great way to make sure you're getting all of your bases covered. And you definitely don't want to overeat liver either. It's very rich in vitamin A, and there can be vitamin A toxicity. All right. Well, that's about it, I think. If you guys have any other questions, feel free. Oh, what do you think about beef bone marrow? I love bone marrow. Bone marrow is delicious. You can roast it, you can eat it raw. It's full of nutrients. It has some protein, lots of fat. I love it. Any type of bone marrow is awesome. You can make bone marrow butter, you can blend it, add herbs. What are the symptoms of not enough salt? Fatigue, brain fog, muscle cramps, heart palpitations, possibly. Those are the main symptoms. Cravings would also be another one. I think a lot of people have cravings, or they think they're still hungry and they're just thirsty. Happens to me, happens to all of us, especially when we're eating a low-carb diet. We need more electrolytes. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining. I will be here next Monday at 10:15. And I have some awesome interviews coming up. So it's always good to do this. I will see you next time. Thank you.